to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All righty. This is to advise those present at this meeting of the Board of Education of the Pinelands Regional School District in the County of Ocean that adequate notice of this meeting was provided in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act. The notice has been posted in the Board of Education office, junior high and high school buildings. The notice was also mailed to the Press of Atlantic City, Asbury Park Press, and filed with municipal clerks of Bass River, Eagleswood, and Little Lake Harbor Township and the Borough of Tuckerton. Roll call, please.
Mr. Bartlett.
Here.
Miss Betty.
Here.
Mr. Bonnicky.
Here.
Mr. Dalio.
Here.
Miss Fagan. She will be marked absent. Miss Martin.
Here.
Miss Zimmerman. Here. Miss Hannadel.
Here.
Mrs. McVeigh.
Here.
And Miss Benson.
Here.
We are in session.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 5, approval of the minutes. We need a motion to approve the following minutes. Open session on March the 20th and closed executive session on March the 20th. Motion. Thank you. Second.
Second.
Any questions?
Okay, Mr. Bartlett.
Abstain.
Miss Betty.
Yes.
Mr. Bonnicky.
Yes.
Mr. Dalio.
Yes.
Miss Martin.
Yes.
Miss Zimmerman. Yes. Miss Hannadel.
Yes.
Miss McVeigh.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 6, report of the superintendent. I give you Dr. Foley.
Thank you. Miss Benson, would you like to go first? Okay, so April's been a fun-filled month here at the high school. We started off this month with our annual Battle of the Classes. Students participated in a number of activities to win spirit points, and our class governments did a great job decorating their class hallways. We'd also like to acknowledge Mr. Adelizi's win in our annual wing eating contest. He did a crazy good job. Students finished off the week with our spring pep rally to celebrate our spring sports teams, and the seniors won. The boys volleyball team started their season with a win against Central and kept the streak with beating Lacey, Egg Harbor, Rancoas Valley, Donovan Catholic, and Jackson Liberty. Congratulations to the girls flag football team for their win over Raritan and their rival Shore Regional. The boys track team won against Donovan Catholic last Tuesday. The boys tennis team defeated Donovan Catholic, Jackson Liberty, Barnegat, and Point Borough this month. Varsity golf has continued a winning streak, and we'd like to give a special shout out to Brandon Tyhanick for his win in the Ocean County tournament. Mr. Ardeman's ecology classes hosted a bog cleanup this past Saturday. We'd like to give a huge thank you to those who came to help. And we'd like to congratulate the inductees of the Triam Music Honor Society. We'd also like to congratulate Mike and Mackay Hall, Connor Bonnicky, Ryan Allen, Anthony Rucci, and Emma Kohler for signing their letter of intent to play sports in college. That's for football and field hockey. So congratulations to our athletes and musical students. That's all I have for tonight. Thank you. So I crossed out some of the things that we both had, so I'll just go over the other ones. Members of our student government, freshman ambassadors, and our academic students participated in a leadership conference today at Ocean County College. The theme of this year's conference is to be a leader in everyday life. Excuse me. Congratulations to all that participated in our spring band concert. Congratulations to the students who attended the Bridge program to recover their credits from the first half of the school year. And we have a presentation this evening that's going to go over all of that. So thank you. The facilities department was extremely busy over the break with the indoor and outdoor upgrades, including a new carpet in the high school auditorium and backstops and other improvements. So please check those out. The scheduling team has been visiting various schools to collect information on different schedules that could best fit the needs of our students. Our food service department, under the leadership of Mike Simoncini, went through a very intensive review. I know Mike was stressed for many, many weeks, but from what we understand, although no formal report has been given, he is doing amazing, and they were extremely impressed by all the things he's doing here. AP students and teachers are busy preparing for their upcoming exams in May. May 1st to May 5th is Teacher Appreciation Week. I know we appreciate our teachers every day, but we are going to make them extra special that week.
Andrew Hoffman was selected as our National Football Foundation and College Hall of Fame South Jersey Scholar Athlete and received a plaque and scholarship at a banquet at the Carriage House yesterday on Sunday. Mike Hall was selected as a New Jersey Football Coaches Association top 100 football players in the state and was recognized at a banquet. Please consider coming to Cat Cabaret in the high school auditorium this Thursday night at 7. It's $10 for adults, $5 for students, and all proceeds go to the Performing Arts Scholarship. We will be doing negotiations with the PEA this summer. So I know Mr. Dalio has expressed some interest. We can have up to 4 members on that committee. If you're interested in being on that, please let Betty Ann know. And we are going to get together in the summer with the PEA. We'll be negotiating directly with them, and we'll order lunch and enjoy negotiating with the PEI. It's so much fun. I just want to give a shout out to Ruth Welsh. She is someone that I've known for quite some time. We actually worked together when I worked in Upper Township many moons ago. And she's just an extraordinary teacher and person. She has an extensive knowledge of literacy, specifically in helping students that are having a hard time read. So I initially had brought her into Little Egg as a consultant to help our teachers with some of the programs that we have there and making sure they were putting them into place with fidelity. So we saw the growth and progress of our little guys. But then when Gina and I were talking, I really was concerned about students 7 through 12 that weren't reading up to grade level. So we brought her and some programs in through 7 through 12. We have Just Words, we have Project Read, and she assisted our staff with implementing those in the classrooms. And there's been an enormous amount of success. And we all know that regardless of they're taking any type of course, if they can't read, they're not going to be proficient in life. So this has just been something that she has been an asset to our district. And I thank Ms. Fresco for allocating the funds for that and for her with all her hard work with our staff. So it's really made a difference in overall in our district. Lastly, I have to start my evaluation. So I have started putting that information together. As always, you'll log into school boards. All of those documents are hyperlinked right through the site. If you need help with that, just call me. I can help you navigate through it. But you'll read through the documentation and then you'll score things accordingly. And then for this year, since I'm still considered chaired through June 30th, at the very least, Ms. Hannadell will be the one summarizing that.
Oh.
So once we're done, you'll let Ms. Hannadell know. And if you don't complete it in time, she'll bother you.
Mm-hmm.
So just know that I'm going to be starting that. And over the next couple of weeks, it should be ready for you to get in there and score it.
That's great.
And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to item number 7, presentations, the bridge program.
Hi. So for those who don't know, I'm Kelly Green. I'm one of the assistant principals at the high school, and we rolled into third marking period with concerns about the number of students who had failed both marking periods 1 and 2 at the high school, and the number of students at the junior high school who were in danger of failing based on the average of their grades. So we created the bridge program, and I'm really just here to say thank you for giving us the chance to give these kids a chance to get themselves back on track, so that their efforts 3rd and 4th marking period were useful and that they could get the skills and learn the things that they needed to learn and didn't during the first semester. So I just want to say thank you to Lindsay Williscroft, who was our high school coordinator, and she'll walk you through this information, and Jennifer Levin, who is our junior high school coordinator, and all of the teachers that we had on board to help with this really different kind of standards-based, project-based program. And then show your.
Yeah, so at the high school, like Ms. Green just said, we wanted to give these students an opportunity for a second chance. We didn't want them going into February with the idea that they've already failed a course that they have to sit in until June. So this was really a second chance opportunity, but we also wanted to make sure that it was, these students were actually mastering the standard and they weren't just sitting in a seat and recovering credits for nothing. So we did start with 55 students. And the recovery options offered, we had 105. Some of these students failed both English and math, or English and social studies, whatever the combination may be. The number of successful students who did meet these standards were 35, and we were able to recover a total of 44 credits. In that, we did not just, put in a 100. These students, we didn't go into their grade book and give them all A's. We went in and we did the math to make sure that their grade, whatever it calculated out to be, was now a passing score. We also, since these students stayed after almost every single day for 6 weeks until 4 o'clock, they were also able to recover some of the attendance that they'd been missing. In order to be part of the bridge program, you were not able to miss more than 3 days. And if you did miss more than 3 days, we gave them the week after spring break to recover it. And a majority of our students did take advantage of that opportunity. And the number of students with GPA increases were 30 students, and some, shot up there. It was incredible to see. We did have some unsuccessful students who didn't, necessarily make it through. So the students who did not meet the standards, there was 4 and we had grading committees. So this decision was not made by just one single teacher. It was a committee of people. For discipline, we did have a zero discipline, tolerance policy. So any students who were in trouble, whether it be during the school day or during the bridge program, they were removed from the program. So that was 6. And then there was 13 students removed for attendance. So like I said, our attendance policy was pretty strict. If you missed more than 3 days, you were dropped, with the understanding that you could recover those days the week after spring break. Right? Some students that didn't take advantage of that opportunity. You want to go over the junior high? Yeah.
So the junior high, we are a little bit of a different entity. So we had a smaller number. We wanted to focus our junior high students, not just on the students who had 2 failures, marking period 1 and 2, but also who had a failing average, because we really wanted to instill in them the importance of having that passing average at the end of the year. So we offered 23 students the option to do the bridge program with 30 different courses offered, because some of them had multiples. The number of students who met our standards were 19. So we had a little bit more than 19 in the program. We had a couple of unsuccessful students between attendance and placement change. But other than that, our students really did, it was much smaller class sizes, and they really did show a lot of success in this program. And a lot of the other information is the same as the high school, so I'm not going to go into that. But I do want to introduce Heaven Copes, who was a bridge student at the junior high. She was here all 4 days of the week, Monday through Thursday, for 8 weeks. So I just wanted her to tell a little bit about her experience.
Hi, my name is Heaven Copes. I had asked to be a part of the bridge program because I was at risk of failing math and social studies based on my averages for the first and second marking period. Since I needed both subjects, I attended bridge Monday through Thursday. At first, I was upset about doing bridge because I thought it would ruin my track time, but it didn't. Mrs. Levins made it work for me. In the middle of bridge, I started to like it because I would finish early and do missing work for other classes too, so I wouldn't fall behind again. The work was really good and easy if you paid attention to your teachers. It was broken up into parts for the 6 weeks, which made everything easier to stay on task. I loved my teachers. They were so helpful and let you ask as many questions as you needed to finish your work. I just wanted to give a big thank you to Miss Bannon for always giving me the confidence and support I needed to get through bridge and track at the same time. I would also like to thank Mrs. Levins for staying on top of me and pushing me to get my work done. I feel accomplished and proud of completing this program. Thank you.
And we also have Maddie Petoskey, who was a 4-day student also, but she was over at the high school.
Hi, I'm Maddie Petoskey. Yeah, I was over there for 4 days. I failed English and I also failed gym, so I had to make up both of those. With the grading policy change, my grades really suffered in the beginning of the year, and without the bridge program, I would have been in a position in February where I would have been told that I had to repeat these classes my senior year. And with no opportunity to pass them, I would have also just been sitting in them for the next 4 months, not able to do anything. The bridge teachers were so great, and those that chose to stay, it was clear that they wanted to help us. The projects were broken down into many steps, which made it easy for me to follow and complete in the 6 weeks that I was there. And the small group classes made it easy for me to learn the material and master the standards. Staying until 4 for 6 weeks is not something I ever wanted to do, but it really wasn't that bad, and I'm grateful for the opportunity. I feel like this program should be available every year because it gave me a second chance that I needed, and it also held me accountable. I'm proud to say that I'm now passing all my classes, and I'm even able to take half days my senior year because of it.
Thank you. How can I answer the question? Huh? Can I ask you a question? Sure. So, those are amazing numbers.
Mhm.
So, anything for the ones who, I mean, will it only be half a year or can you do it again? Or can you do it in 3/4 or no? Is there age of doing it the next quarter?
So for us to, I don't know. So the idea would be, I guess, if we had students who had passed one of marking period 1 and 2, and then during third had failed. Well, at that point, there's a chance still that they could pass 4. So right now, even if, if they've passed semester 1, even if they didn't do so well 3, they have a chance.
Okay.
So, but we can model what I think was really different about this was, because we've had summer school and we have other kind of intervention programs. One of the real differences here was that we had a project-based approach that focused only on like core standards that they had to learn that they missed or they weren't able to demonstrate or chose not to demonstrate during that first semester. And so if you take the model of what we've done here and fix some things and make some adjustments, there's talk about using that model for the summer school program then as well.
So you actually extracted all that.
Yeah, we looked at
Tearing it down to, okay.
We spent about a week before the program went to kids. We had all the teachers come in. We looked at, like, the math class is a great example. We had students in one group that were in 4 different levels of math: transitional algebra, algebra 1, algebra 2, and geometry. And the teachers looked at those kids, looked at their grade books, identified based on the next course in the sequence what real skills they had to have to be able to move on, and for them to have the authority to say, well, this kid learned what he needed to learn in algebra 1 first half of the year. They pulled them out, they designed a project, and then different courses, different, algebra 1 versus algebra 2 approached that same task. It was like a city planning mapping task from the angle of the standards that they needed to meet, of the skills they needed to master. So the kids worked independently throughout the 6 weeks. They did work along the way that was, I don't want to say scored because it wasn't scored, but feedback was provided. Kids were able to go back, make corrections, adjust, get lots of feedback, lots of help, so that when they actually got to the finished project, we were pretty confident that most people had met the standard. They just then had to demonstrate it all in one unit together. We had a few kids, 2 in math and 1 in English, 2 in English that didn't make the standard, who actually put in all the time. But the goal when we went in was to just be certain that, if we're going to tell a teacher, we're going to change your marking period 2 grade to a 74 so that your student has a D for the semester, we wanted to be able to say that we were confident that the work was rigorous enough that they know those standards.
And then, so any time yet to compare the junior high program, or they're purposely different?
They were similar in design, but then modified obviously for the course material and the fact that, I guess, the standards, we looked at the standards the same way, but they did address a little bit of a different group of kids.
Okay.
Because most of their students were students who were failing via the mathematical average. The high school students were those who failed with 2 Fs. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Anyone else? Thank you very much. It was a great opportunity.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Next up is Amanda Miller with our public hearing presentation on the budget.
Hello, everybody. First, I wanted to thank the Board of Education members for their support, in particular, Mrs. McVeigh, Mr. Dalio, Ms. Martin, and Ms. Zimmerman, who were on the budget committee for this year. Thank you to Dr. McCooley, Ms. Frasca, and Dr. Clark for your support during the budget process. And thank you to the entire admin team for preparing your budgets in a timely manner and answering all of my questions. This slide is just showing the facilities that we cover. We have about 375 square feet of space under our roofs with 3 active school buildings, the alternative school, which is being used for the community pathways, our high school and junior high, and the admin building. We also have about 42 acres of land. So that's a lot of space that needs to be cared for and maintained. This is our staff. We have 172 certified staff, 107 support staff, and 11 administrators, totaling 290 staff members full-time. This is a quick snapshot of the 23-24 budget. We have general fund expenditures to be at $37.1 million. We anticipate revenues to be $14.9 million, leaving $22.2 million to be raised by taxes. Our special revenue, we anticipate to be 1.43. We don't get the final numbers for the special revenue, the grant funds, until later on in the school year. So this is a estimate. We always build our expenditures to match our revenues, so there's no taxes raised to support grant revenue. Our debt service, we had the $53 million referendum project that was completed in 2019. We pay bond payments on that money that was borrowed. Our bond payments for 23-24 total $3.56 million. We get $1.246 million from the state of New Jersey from debt service aid, which leaves $2.319 million to be raised for taxes for debt service. In the far right corner, you will see total expenditures of just over $42 million, with the balance to be raised for taxes of $24.5 million. This is our regional allocation. This is how we determine what percentage each of the sending districts is responsible for. We get these percentages from an apportionment formula that is provided by the state. Bass River went down this year. They're responsible for a little over 5%. Eagleswood is a little over 6%, which is pretty flat from last year. Little Egg is 75%. It's our biggest sending district, and they're pretty stable at 75%. And then Tuckerton went up, I believe, a little bit over 1%. We take the total amount raised of the taxes of that 24 million and divide it using this regional allocation, and that's how we come up with the taxes that are charged at the municipal level. When we look at our total revenue, about 60% of that does come from taxes. The 32% comes from state aid, and the remaining 8% is from other sources like fund balance, miscellaneous revenue, and interest revenue. We'll talk briefly about state aid. We fared well compared to other districts in the state that saw a huge unexpected decrease in their state aid numbers. We stayed relatively flat, while we did have a slight increase in special revenue aid or special education aid. We did see a decrease in choice aid. So if we have openings in our choice program, so if you know of anyone that lives in the district that does not live in the district that wants to attend our wonderful school, please reach out to our guidance department. Oh, God. This is our proposed expenses. 54% of our total expenses is salaries and 20% are benefits. So 75% of our expenses for the district are for salaries and health benefits for our staff. This percentage is very common for public school districts. I wanted to highlight some of the projects they were able to do this year. Right in August, when I first started, we received additional funding from Maintenance of Equity State Aid that we're able to use for some one-time projects. So we're able to use this money for some projects that were not touched during the referendum. We used it a lot for athletics and in the auditorium. So there's been a lot of upgrades to facilities, and it was made possible due to this additional state funding. There's still work that's going to be done, but this is just a highlight of some of the things that you'll see that has already been completed. Next is the tax impact for the districts. In every slide, you will see a italicized number, which represents the average home value in each municipality. This chart will show the comparison of the current school year and the upcoming school year. You will see in this slide, the Little Egg tax for the average homeowner will increase by about $29 for the year, or for every 100,000 in assessed value, your taxes will be increased by $14. Okay, and for Tuckerton, we use the same math. The average home value will see an increase of $127 or $58 per 100,000 in assessed home value. Bass River will see a decrease of about $309 for an average house assessment, or $143 per 100,000 in assessed value. And Eagleswood will also see a decrease of about $63 for an average home or $25 per 100,000 in assessed value. This is an overview of the 23-24 budget. After the March Board of Ed meeting, the tentative budget was submitted to the county for review and approval. The next step in the budget process will be to open the budget to departments in mid-May. Then our admin team will be able to start planning their purchases for next school year. Again, I want to thank the Board of Education and the administration for their support and input on this budget. And if there's any questions from the public or the board. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Miller, for all your hard work. Moving on to our 21-22 audit presentation.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Rick DiNapoli from Holman Frenier Allison, the school district's auditors. I'd like to begin by thanking the board and the administration for having us here tonight. I speak very softly. If you don't hear me, please nod and I'll try to get a little closer. Thank you. I'd also like to thank Amanda Miller and her team in the finance department for their cooperation and responsiveness during the audit. We have something around 200 requests that they have to respond to, and it takes a great deal of their time. So we appreciate that effort from them. This is the 2022 audit. Numbers are as of June 30th, 2022, which was about 10 months ago. I just would like to remind you that the delay is not related to the finance office or the audit. It's related to the state and their release of the GASB 75 reports, which we are required to implement in the financial statements this year. They were not released until February or March. It's a big part of the delay. I'm going to skip the financial overview because you guys have all had an opportunity to review the financial statements. We're already through the budget process. So what I'll do tonight is just point to some specific areas of the report that we think you should review, starting with the letter of transmittal and management's discussion and analysis. These two documents are prepared by management and represent a concise overview of the financial statements and the related footnotes, as well as the required supplementary information. Next, we have our audit opinions. We issue 3 opinions in relation to the audit. The first is our independent auditor's review, which is an opinion on the financial statements. Our audit is conducted in accordance with auditing standards generally accepted in the United States, as well as governmental auditing standards and requirements set forth by the New Jersey Department of Education. We're required to do a variety of procedures to make sure that the financial statements are free from material misstatements, as well as that the district has complied with all of the rules and regulations set forth by the state. And as a result of those procedures, we are able to offer an unmodified opinion on the financial statements, which is the cleanest opinion that we can give. The next opinion that we have, or auditor's report, is on internal control over financial reporting. We consider internal controls as part of planning our audit, but we do not for the purposes of expressing an opinion on the effectiveness of internal controls. Lastly, our independent auditor's report on compliance and our report on internal control over compliance of major programs. Our audit is conducted on compliance and internal controls over compliance for state and federal programs of the district. Again, we've offered an unmodified opinion on those programs as well. One of the things that we begin with in our audit is a review of prior year audit findings. The procedures performed in review of those findings disclosed no instances of repeat findings from the 2021 audit. Those have all been resolved by Amanda and her team. We do have one finding to bring to your attention as part of our state single audit, which we'll get to. A single audit is required when the district expends over $750,000 in state or federal funds. That's what triggers the single audit. The major programs that were tested in the 2022 year were the state aid public cluster, which is where we had our finding, The district is required to recognize 90% of the semi-revenue or Medicaid revenue that was budgeted for, and we did not hit that mark. Amanda is already working through a corrective action plan with the state, and I believe it's before you to approve this evening. The other major programs we looked at were reimbursed TPAF Social Security contributions, which is the state's reimbursement for Social Security for teachers' pension and annuity fund participants, as well as debt service aid. And then for the federal awards, our major program was the Education Stabilization Fund, specifically the ESSER II funds. Many people are familiar with CARES and ARP. This is the one that was in the middle. And that is all I have for you tonight. If anyone doesn't have any questions, but I'd be happy to answer them. Also like to let you know that Amanda can contact us at any time. She has our contact information if anyone has any questions beyond tonight.
Can you have copies for everybody if they want them?
Yeah. They're available digitally, and then if you'd like a copy, I could get that for you.
So the big thing is the Medicare? That was overspent? I'm confused.
No, it's a number that's given to us. Do you want to explain or don't you?
You can explain, it's fine.
It's a number given to us in the budget that it's a target that we need to get to. And there's a lot of extensive reporting and paperwork that's involved in it. We do our part in it, but it is historically very difficult to hit their mark. There is something that can be done, and I did do this for the 23-24, is file an alternate revenue request to reduce that revenue number. Because it is so hard to hit that mark.
So it's $750 is all you're allowed to spend?
It's not.
If I could clarify that for you, the 750 is a threshold for the total amount of state funds expended.
State funding what?
The total amount of state funds that were expended for the year.
Okay.
So the revenue, it's probably
that
around
counts
40.
I'll give you the specifics on the number. The budgeted revenue is $45,000. The realized revenue is $14,000 for a deficit of $31,000. So while it's a significant amount, it's not.
It's a very small portion of that.
Because of all the grants and stuff, the ESSER funds and all those things.
The actual semi number is the finding is on the semi number, and that's
It's just hard to hit.
It's very hard to hit. So
Yeah.
for this 23-24, we did request a reduction in the target number, and we are going to try it harder. Ms. Elwood and I have worked hard on
thing
it.
to watch.
Yeah, it's a lot of record keeping, and while every penny is appreciated, it's a lot of work for not that much money. But we do is the best we can. We're going to try harder to do best, and we did get the mark down for a little bit for 23-24.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 8, item A, board forum. Do any of my fellow board members have anything to report out or to ask or to share? Seeing none, moving on to new business. Do we have any new business?
Can I ask a question?
Sure can.
On scheduling, Melissa,
Yes.
is that something that's a definite? Do you feel like now this schedule that you have in place is not working and you're trying to find a new one? Or do you feel like it's going to be looked at or?
So we feel that current schedule can be improved,
Okay.
but it also coincides with the current language in the contract. So that's
Right.
why the plan was to have scheduling committees throughout the year. And as part of our last settlement agreement, there's this team, including the PEA, is supposed to come to me by the end of this school year with a proposal of a new contract. And then that would be embedded when we do negotiations, because there may be a cost, there may be a cost savings, there'll be a change to instructional time one way or the other. So it's all going to go together. That's why they have to develop the schedule first. And then we will talk about that in the summer when we negotiate.
Do you feel like it's not as flexible as you guys need? to
Yes,
be
it's
able
not
to-
as flexible that if we want more minutes in a certain area, it's hard to get that. And we don't think it's providing the best opportunities for students.
Good. Okay, thanks.
All righty, how about old business? Anyone have anything of old business nature to discuss? Seeing none, we'll move on to item number 9, residents forum for agenda items only. Board policy 0167 encourages community participation in every meeting. However, the board requests that the public respect a reasonable time limit when commenting on agenda items. Anyone from the audience wish to comment on an agenda item only? Seeing none, we'll move on to item number 10, instructional. We need a motion to approve instructional items A through H. Motion, please.
Who was that first?
I believe Patty first and Mr. Bonnicky second.
Okay.
Any questions?
So, one question. New policies, the federal funds education and benefits, that's not to do with you, these are structured, these are.
Yeah, they
These are
come back.
mandated policies,
Okay,
yes.
mandated, okay, thanks.
All right, Mr. Bartlett,
Yes.
Miss Betty,
Yes.
Mr. Bonnicky,
Yes.
Mr. Dalio.
Yes.
Miss Martin,
Yes.
Miss Zimmerman,
Yes.
Miss Hennadel,
Yes.
Mrs. McVeigh,
Yes.
motion carries.
Moving on to item number 11, personnel. We need a motion to approve items A through V. Motion, please.
Motion.
Second.
Any questions on A through V?
All right, Mr. Bartlett,
Yes.
Miss Betty,
Yes.
Mr. Bonnicky,
Yes.
Mr. Dalio,
Yes.
Miss Martin,
Yes.
Miss Zimmerman,
Yes.
Miss Hennadel,
Yes.
Mrs. McVeigh,
Yes, and I will abstain on item number or letter V.
okay, noted. Motion carries.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 12, operations. We need a motion to approve items A through G. Motion, please.
Motion.
Second.
Any questions?
Mr. Bartlett,
Yes.
Miss Betty,
Yes.
Mr. Bonnicky,
Yes.
Mr. Dalio,
Yes.
Miss Martin,
Yes.
Miss Zimmerman,
Yes.
Miss Hennadel,
Yeah.
Mrs. McVeigh,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. Moving on to item 13, report of the board secretary, business administrator. We need a motion to approve items A through T. Motion, please.
Motion.
Any questions?
Okay, Mr. Bartlett,
Yes.
Miss Betty,
Yes.
Mr. Bonnicky,
Yes.
Mr. Dalio,
Yes.
Miss Martin,
Yes.
Miss Zimmerman,
Yeah.
Miss Hennadel,
Yes.
Mrs. McVeigh,
Yes.
motion carries.
Moving on to item number 15, residents forum for general topics. Board policy 0167 encourages community participation in every meeting. However, the board requests that the public respect a reasonable time limit when commenting on any topic. Anyone from the audience wish to address the board on general topics? Seeing none, we will move on to board forum. And I gave you right out of the chutes to cover everything, so everybody else doesn't have to say anything. Miss Martin. Okay, go for it.
I did a lot of reading. There was a lot of reports to read, and I don't think impressed is the right word, but boy, was I impressed with Janelle's presentation to the State Assembly regarding school-based youth services. It obviously was very impactful, and if I read correctly, Assemblyman Rumpf is going to be touring school-based youth services in May, which is fantastic.
They're also getting student testimonials together too.
Just wonderful.
Mhm.
I mean, it was great to read. thank you to everybody, the community, the staff, administration that volunteered their time for working on the strategic plan. Way to go, spring sports. Just phenomenal, phenomenal. What else do I have? Oh, the businesses and community members that are contributing to the scholarship fund. Thank you. Thank you to all of them. And dual enrollment. Pinelands is up there, just phenomenal. So thank you, Ms. Fraska, and everyone that works on that. Just really good.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Mr. Bonnicky.
Here.
Do you have anything to share?
No, nothing at this time.
Alrighty.
There'll be a time, but not at this time.
Ms. Zimmerman?
I just want to say I really enjoyed the bridge presentation and it was great to learn about that and see the success of it. So great job by everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Bartlett?
Ditto on the bridge presentation. That was nice. And Olivia, was that Coach Ads with the wing eating contest?
Oh, wing eating contest.
Way to go, Coach Ads. I mean, you know. Represent. School board next year?
Oh, I like that.
Thank you. That's all.
Miss Betty?
I do want to say that the presentation was wonderful. I love that. That's a great way to recover grades and credit. It's awesome.
True.
And the only other thing I have to say is you make it sound so fun. I wish I had gone to high school. That's all I got.
Thank you. Mr. Dahlia?
Yeah, just add to the presentation bridge. I thought that was very impressive in what we're doing here. So, but that's all I have.
Thank you. Ms. Hannadel?
Ditto on all. Thanks for the donations as well, especially the bridge program. Thank you so much, you guys, for all you do. Really amazing. And I love that the kids love it so much. It's just so great. And they said I could meet them, I could do it. I got more work done. I just love that. Amanda, you're doing a fabulous job. You know, we're all Nick fans, but you're amazing. So we're happy to have you.
Thank you.
And you did a great job. And you didn't sound nervous at all. And I wasn't. That's it.
Alrighty, I just have a couple things to say. If you were coming in tonight, you saw how busy the campus was. There were all kinds of sporting activities going on and people crossing the street back and forth and being involved and parking every which way to get to see an event. So if you're driving up and down Nugenttown Road or any of the roads near the campus, be aware of the fact that it's springtime and the kids are busy thinking of everything but maybe their own safety in crossing the street, or there's little ones running around watching events. We have all the youth sports starting up already, and if you're driving by a park or a school, just slow down, give everybody a chance to come home alive. Be safe around parks and certainly around our school. And that's my public service announcement. Have a good night. Thanks for coming out. See you next month.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, please.
Motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Good night.
There's a little cat there for you.
My daughter will take those.